Was there an operation throughout all of your missions in Afghanistan that stands out as being the busiest in terms of how long it took, the magnitude of the gunfight, KIAs on the enemy side, any casualties on your side, like kind of this one stands out as the pinnacle of what we do?
I think one of the ones where we, down in southern Afghanistan, it was a long infill, good route. We got in there and
like about what distance would you say?
10 plus K, 10 or 12 K was the infill. And then there was a lot of I remember we were walking due south the majority of the time, but there was a lot of boxing around farms and stuff like that. So did a good job of like staying quiet, getting in there. We get on target. The target itself wasn't so amazing. And then it just erupted around us. And it was just like, fire coming in from 3 different directions, AC-130 going hot, very, very close. It was pretty, all sorts of craziness going on. I mean, we exfilled during the daytime, which I didn't think was the greatest decision at the time. Like I thought it would have been better to just say, let's just keep walking, and we can walk for another 12 hours and then exfil the next day. Because when we brought birds in, like I just remember we were in the lead one. And we're up in the air, and we're seeing tracer fire just come up from all these different compounds. And I'm watching, and I couldn't tell if the tracer fire was ripping through the helo behind us or not. It was either directly in front or probably more behind, because I couldn't tell if it was going through it or not. I just remember, praying and then just watching our mini, all the door gunners just hammering, with their miniguns into all those compounds. But pretty amazing that we didn't lose anyone.
Did you finish the mission successfully, or
I think we didn't kill a bunch of people on target. It was just one of those. I think we got the guy that we were going at, or no, we did not get the guy we were going after. But just in terms of it was a long way in, lots of ordnance dropped, lots of Mankey on the exfil, all those things. I would say kind of stood out as I don't know, that stood out more to me than missions where we got our guy.
The second question was kind of big picture, macro 30,000 foot view of Afghanistan as a whole, as it relates to the kind of the morale or the moral question of making the distinction between somebody breaking into your house, but then also fighting on behalf of the United States, and you personally, where you see our nation as it relates to being in the war on terror, and how we've done it, why we've done it, how long we've done it, where we've done it, our ROEs, kind of the big picture wise. To me at this point, there's things that I can look back on, in terms of good friends of mine / ours that are now gone because of it. If it's worth it, what are we still doing there? Should we still be there? Those types of kind of big picture, not so black and white questions to answer in terms of how you feel about what we're doing there.
Yeah, that stuff is definitely harder to answer. I do think it was the right thing going over there. I don't think nation building was the right thing. I don't think trying to install democracy into a country that has never done democracy and their people are not ready for democracy or a republic, that's not the right thing to do. I think as a national policy, we should support countries that are very secular in their Islam, and basically, so I would have been good with after a year or two. When we first rolled into Afghanistan, we crushed everyone. They had an ODA team shows up on the top of a hill and tens of thousands of dudes in tanks are fleeing before them, because we did what the American military does best, and that's just go in and crush everyone. We don't do nation building very well. And I don't think we don't have the cultural understanding. We don't have the patience, tactical patience to do that stuff. I think Eric Prince has some great ideas as far as the British East India model of like, hey, put a viceroy in there. Like I think that has been a huge problem we have this massive turnover. Like you get a new general in there every 12 to 18 months. And the first few months he's figuring out what he's doing. The last few months he wants to make sure that he doesn't cause any waves before he leaves.
Yeah.
And so he's got a very limited window of time to do something. And if his vision is different from his predecessor's vision, like there's no trust that's built up between people. It's a big problem. I think we should have we should leave a small contingent of forces there, continue to and basically support a secular Islamic government, and just say, hey, here's the deal, if you allow Al Qaeda or ISIS now or the Taliban to regroup to any level where they have targeting ability outside of the nation, then we're going to come back in and crush everyone again. Mm-hmm. Because we lost almost no one on the initial invasion. I remember when Johnny Spann was killed, the CIA guy up in Mazar-e Sharif, like that was a national thing. Like everyone knew who his name was. It was a big deal. When the first couple guys got killed, like that was a big deal. And then we got to a point where we're losing a couple dudes a day, and like no one even, what? We're still fighting in Afghanistan? Like no one even remembers. Yeah. So I think that the U.S. military should be used for doing what it does, which is go in and crush things. And then policy-wise, we should be supporting people that are the secular Islamic governments. And we got to a point where I'm just like, man, this is really cool. Like none of the guys that are kind of in tribe are doing a fixed pocket blade like that.
Do you have one with you?
I do, yeah. So this is actually a slightly bigger, or this is a prototype of the Minuteman that will be, they're for sale, pre-order right now, but they'll be for sale. We'll be shipping these guys in April. Yeah. The Northman, our original one, it's slightly smaller than this right here. But it's basically, it sits in your pocket. And so you can put your hand on it and draw. Most guys look at that and they just think, man, this is they just see a little bit of clip and a little bit of handle. They think it's a folder. Yeah. But I can hang out with my finger or with my hand on a blade, and you don't have a clue. Yeah. So basically, I kind of asked the guys that I respect cool. if they were good with me starting a business around this. Yeah. And kind of got the blessing, and it's kind of gone crazy from there. Like, the first, we sold out our first run in about 6 hours, wow. I think. And it's interesting. Like the first run was sold almost exclusively to students. Yeah. I put out an email, hey guys, like this is what we're doing. I talked about it a little bit in classes, and then, hey, we do a Thanksgiving Day sale every year. So it's like 11 or 12 East Coast time, they go on sale. Yeah. By like 5 our time, it was, they were sold out. Wow. And then that's just, did a couple runs of Northman, and then guys, I wanted a bigger blade. I really liked how the Northman handled, but I like carrying, I carry a belt knife as well. And I like having a 5-inch blade in the belt knife. So out of that was born the Magnus, which is
this one.
Which is this guy right here.
So it's just a little bigger.
So this one's a 5-inch blade, and I carry this on my belt, and it's a little beat up right now. I was splitting some Texas oak with that the other night with some guys making a fire first. Yeah. But it's one of the things we do is we have a ferro rod in all of our sheaths right here, because it's one of the things I believe that as a man, you should be able to start a fire at all times. So having a ferro rod helps significantly with that. Yeah, that's awesome. So we did this, and then this has been pretty good seller. Not quite as much. A lot of guys think that a 5-inch blade for everyday carry is a little bit excessive, but I wanted a 5-inch blade. Yeah. So we made a 5-inch blade first.
So the Northman is a 4?
The Northman is a 3.5-inch blade.
Okay, that's a 4.
The Minuteman's the 4, and now the Magnus is the 5.
Okay. Do they all have the flint capability?
They all have a ferro rod built into their sheaths. Okay. So it's been a cool, like, that's just been its own separate learning curve with, now we're running 2 businesses, and, and now we're definitely outside of our, the first like 80 dudes that ordered knives. I'm like, oh, cool, he's a student. Oh, cool, he's a student. Yeah. And now it's like most
the
guys
fuck is this
aren't
guy?
students anymore.